Do you know the answer? In today's quiz, you'll face 20 questions that will test your knowledge of history, science, culture, and some truly surprising facts. Some questions will be easy, others might make you stop and think. From ancient Rome and famous works of art, to strange facts about animals, and even the smell of moon dust. Keep track of your score, and make sure to stay until the end. There's a bonus question waiting for you. Ready to test your knowledge? Let's begin. First question. In ancient Rome, Emperor Vespasian introduced a very unusual tax. What was the famous Roman tax Pecunia non olet collected from? Salt, bread, public toilets, or beards? The correct answer is public toilets. Public toilets in ancient Rome actually collected urine, which was sold to laundries and leather workshops. Believe it or not, urine was used as a cleaning agent because it contains ammonia. When Vespasian's son criticized the tax as disgusting, the emperor held a coin under his nose and asked if it smelled. When his son said no, Vespasian replied with the famous words, "Pecunia non olet." Money does not smell. The phrase is still used today to mean that money is money, no matter where it comes from. Question 2. Which monastic order is named after a hood? Benedictines, Capuchins, Dominicans, or Jesuits? The correct answer is Capuchins. The name Capuchin comes from the Italian word cappuccio, meaning hood. The monks wore simple brown robes with a long pointed hood that became their symbol. But here's something surprising. The famous coffee cappuccino was actually named after them. People thought the color of the coffee with milk looked just like the brown robes of the Capuchin monks. So every time you drink a cappuccino, you're actually drinking a coffee named after a 17th century religious order. Question 3. Which famous poet once spent a night in a Venetian prison? Friedrich Schiller, Charles Baudelaire, Lord Byron, or Johann Goethe? The correct answer is Lord Byron. Lord Byron was famous not only for his poetry, but also for his adventurous life. While visiting Venice, he became fascinated by the city's dark history and once insisted on spending a night in one of its old prison cells. But that wasn't his only unusual adventure. Byron also famously swam across the Hellespont, a dangerous strait between Europe and Asia, recreating a legendary swim from Greek mythology. The distance is about 4 kilometers, and the currents there are incredibly strong. Not bad for one of the greatest poets of the Romantic era. Question 4. Which animal has fingerprints almost identical to humans? Chimpanzee, panda, koala, or lemur? The correct answer is koala. Koala fingerprints are so similar to human fingerprints that they can confuse forensic investigators. Under a microscope, the patterns are almost impossible to tell apart. Even stranger, koalas developed these fingerprints independently from humans and primates, even though they are marsupials. Scientists believe their fingerprints evolved because koalas need extremely precise grip to climb and hold eucalyptus branches. Question 5. What does the word Renaissance literally mean? Ancient world, New Age, Golden Era, or Rebirth? The correct answer is Rebirth. The Renaissance was a time when Europe rediscovered the knowledge, art, and philosophy of ancient Greece and Rome. During this period, incredible figures like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael transformed art, science, and architecture. Leonardo da Vinci alone filled thousands of pages of notebooks with inventions, scientific sketches, and ideas that were centuries ahead of their time. Some of his designs even resembled modern helicopters and submarines. The word Renaissance perfectly describes this era, a true rebirth of knowledge and creativity in Europe. Question 6. Which painting made Edvard Munch famous? The Pain, the Fear, the Death, or the Scream? The correct answer is the scream. Edvard Munch actually created 4 versions of the scream. One of them sold at auction in 2012 for nearly $120 million, making it one of the most expensive artworks ever sold. Munch said he was inspired to paint it after experiencing a moment of overwhelming anxiety while walking at sunset. He wrote that he suddenly felt a great scream passing through nature. That haunting feeling became one of the most famous images in the history of art. Question 7. Which animal is sacred in Thailand? Elephant, cow, lemur, or monkey? The correct answer is elephant. In Thailand, the white elephant is considered a symbol of royal power and good fortune. For centuries, only the king was allowed to own one. These rare elephants were so valuable that receiving one from the king was seen as both a great honor and sometimes a difficult burden. Because white elephants required enormous care and expense, they gave rise to the famous expression, a white elephant, meaning a gift that is beautiful but costly to maintain. Today, elephants remain one of the most important cultural symbols of Thailand. Question 8. Which country has a town called Batman? Romania, Turkey, Serbia, or Greece? The correct answer is Turkey. Batman is a real city in southeastern Turkey with a population of more than 400,000 people. The name actually comes from the Batman River, which flows through the region. But the city became internationally famous after the Batman movies. At one point, the mayor of Batman even joked about suing Hollywood for using the name without permission. Today, the city has fully embraced the connection, and the name often surprises visitors from around the world. Question 9. Where was Vincent van Gogh born? France, the Netherlands, Italy, or Germany? The correct answer is the Netherlands. Vincent van Gogh was born in the small Dutch village of Groot Zundert in 1853. Surprisingly, he didn't begin painting seriously until he was about 27 years old. In just 10 years, he created more than 2,000 artworks, including around 900 paintings. Yet during his lifetime, Van Gogh is believed to have sold only 1 painting. Today, his works are among the most famous and valuable in the world. Question 10. Where were French fries invented? France, the USA, Belgium, or Germany? The correct answer is Belgium. According to popular history, fried potatoes were first made in Belgium, where people living along the Meuse River traditionally fried small fish. When the river froze in winter and fish were unavailable, they began cutting potatoes into strips and frying them instead. American soldiers tasted them in Belgium during World War I. Because the Belgian army spoke French, the soldiers started calling them French fries. Today, Belgium takes fries so seriously that there are even museums dedicated entirely to them. Question 11. Where is Casablanca located? Algeria, France, Tunisia, or Morocco? The correct answer is Morocco. Casablanca is the largest city in Morocco and one of the most important ports on the Atlantic coast of Africa. The city became world famous thanks to the classic 1942 film Casablanca, starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. But here's something surprising. Despite the movie's setting, almost the entire film was actually shot in Hollywood, not in Morocco. Today, Casablanca is home to the Hassan II Mosque, one of the largest mosques in the world, built partly over the ocean. Question 12. Who said, "Wonder is the beginning of wisdom"? Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, or Pythagoras? The correct answer is Aristotle. Aristotle believed that curiosity and wonder are the starting point of all knowledge. When people encounter something mysterious or surprising, they begin to ask questions. And that is how philosophy and science begin. Aristotle himself was one of the most influential thinkers in history. He studied under Plato and later became the teacher of Alexander the Great, one of the most famous rulers of the ancient world. His ideas influenced science, philosophy, and education for more than 2,000 years. Question 13. Jakarta is the capital of which country? Indonesia, Chile, Colombia, or Peru? The correct answer is Indonesia. Jakarta is one of the largest and busiest cities in the world, with a metropolitan population of more than 30 million people. But the city faces a serious problem. Parts of Jakarta are sinking faster than any other major city on Earth because of rising sea levels and excessive groundwater use. Because of this, Indonesia has already started building a new capital city called Nusantara on the island of Borneo. Question 14. What is the lead violinist in an orchestra called? Singer, ballet master, concert master, or choir master? The correct answer is concertmaster. The concertmaster is the highest-ranking musician in the orchestra after the conductor. They lead the violin section, help coordinate the musicians, and often perform the violin solos during a concert. If you watch closely before a performance begins, you'll usually see the concertmaster walk onto the stage first. They signal the orchestra to tune their instruments, and only after that does the conductor enter the stage. Question 15. Which work did Mozart leave unfinished? The Magic Flute, Turkish March, Requiem, or The Marriage of Figaro? The correct answer is Requiem. Mozart was working on the Requiem Mass when he died in 1791 at the age of just 35. The piece had been commissioned by a mysterious messenger who refused to reveal who he was working for. Mozart reportedly became obsessed with the music and even believed he might be writing the Requiem for his own funeral. After his death, the unfinished composition was completed by his student, Franz Xaver Süssmayr. Today, Mozart's Requiem is considered one of the most powerful and dramatic works in classical music. Question 16. What was the first capital of ancient Egypt? Cairo, Memphis, Thebes, or Abydos? The correct answer is Memphis. Memphis was founded more than 5,000 years ago after the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. For centuries, it served as the political and religious center of the Egyptian kingdom. At its height, Memphis was one of the largest and most important cities in the ancient world. Today, the ruins of the ancient city lie near modern Cairo, and nearby stands the famous Pyramid of Saqqara, one of the oldest stone pyramids ever built. Question 17. What does moon dust smell like? Gunpowder, rotten eggs, burnt toast, or nothing at all? The correct answer is gunpowder. Apollo astronauts reported that moon dust had a very distinct smell. When they returned to the lunar module and removed their helmets, the dust they had tracked inside smelled exactly like spent gunpowder. Scientists believe this happens because moon dust is made of tiny, sharp particles formed by millions of years of meteor impacts. These particles are extremely reactive, which may explain the unusual smell. Even though the moon looks calm and silent, its dust turned out to have a surprisingly explosive scent. Question 18. What makes green tea different from black tea? Harvest time, growing place, plant species, or oxidation? The correct answer is oxidation. Both green tea and black tea actually come from the same plant, called Camellia sinensis. The difference appears during processing. Black tea leaves are allowed to fully oxidize, which gives them a darker color and stronger flavor. Green tea, on the other hand, is quickly heated after picking to stop oxidation, helping it keep its fresh green color and lighter taste. That's why two teas from the same plant can taste completely different. Question 19. Sea anemones belong to which kingdom? Plants, animals, fungi, or bacteria? The correct answer is animals. Sea anemones may look like colorful underwater flowers, but they are actually predatory animals. They are closely related to jellyfish and corals. Their tentacles contain tiny stinging cells that they use to paralyze and capture small fish or plankton. Some species even form partnerships with fish, like the famous clownfish, which can safely live among their stinging tentacles. Question 20. A drake is a male which bird? Goose, duck, swan, or chicken? The correct answer is duck. A male duck is called a drake, while the female is simply called a duck or sometimes a hen. In many duck species, the males are much more colorful and brightly patterned than the females. For example, the male mallard duck has a shiny green head and bright markings, while the female has brown feathers that help her blend into the environment when nesting. Nature gave the males the bright colors to attract mates, while the females use camouflage to stay safe. And now, the bonus question. Finish the proverb. Once bitten, twice crying, shy, hiding, or running. How many did you get right today? Write your score and your answer to the bonus question in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next quiz. Stay curious and have a great day. See you in the next quiz!